Hello, Happy New Year, my good students. Once the semester is in session, meaning we must continue with our academic work. And as you all know, I am your social studies tutor. And regarding our meeting for the day, now this is all what we are up to. Now we need to begin with today's scenario. Assuming you are on a public transport, to be precise, bus, and there was this woman who boarded or joined you in the bus. Now, after joining you, she realized all the seats in the bus were fully occupied. Now, you being a good boy or girl or as a good student, now what do you think is right to do? Expected answer is, say, I need to vacate my seat for the woman to occupy. Yes, indeed, that is the right thing to do. Now, once you engage in that, what do you think you have done? You have exhibited good, positive, or ethical behavior. After exhibiting such behavior, I want to alert you that our strand or topic for the day's work is ethics and human development. Ethics and human development. Now, because it is a new strand or topic, we need to begin with the definition of some terms that are related to the topic. We will address these three terms or concepts. The first term will be ethics. The second term or concept will be human values. And the third term will also focus on ethical behavior. Once you are done with these three terms or concepts, we shall make progress to the identification of the relevance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. The identification of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. Now let's set the ball rolling. One may ask, what is the meaning of ethics? Now, ethics may be defined or explained as a set of moral principles, rules, or guidelines that govern human behavior or conduct and which are acceptable by the society. I'm taking it again. Now, ethics refers to a set of moral principles, rules, or guidelines that govern human behavior and conduct, and they are all acceptable by the society. Now, regarding the definition of the term or concept ethics, now we met this phrase, moral principles. One may ask, say, how do I understand the meaning of moral principles? Now, this is the fundamental or basic beliefs about right and wrong. So with moral principle, it will just guide you to differentiate between the good and bad, right and wrong. Now, knowing good and bad will help you, the individual or the student, as I said, differentiate between ethical and unethical behavior. Now, ethical behavior relates to all forms of behavior that are seen positive and, for that matter, are cherished, adored, and acceptable by the society. And all those attitude or lifestyle that are seen unethical are those that are seen immoral, and for that matter, the society doesn't recognize or accord it. Okay, now to throw more light to ethics, I want you to understand that these are some of the examples of ethics. Now, being ethical means you should be very fair. Being ethical means you should be very, very honest. Being ethical means you should also accept responsibilities that are assigned to you as a student or as an individual, especially the good responsibilities. And I don't think in your respective homes or in the school, your teachers or your facilitators will just influence you to embark on negative responsibilities. No. Now, also having respect for authorities, parents, and even your mates or your fellow human being, that is also very necessary. And for that matter, they are all seen as some examples of ethics. Now, also having conscience, yes. Now, every individual is blessed with conscience, but the way you relate to other people in the society will be an evidence that, yes, indeed, you are endowed with positive conscience, because your conscience will always prompt you as to engage in things that are seen good or bad, as to engage in things that are seen relevant and things that are seen irrelevant. Now also, you need to be very compassionate. Now, being compassionate means having empathy towards people. Yes, you need to sometimes try to be in the shoes of other people. That is all empathy is trying to mean to you and I. Okay, now let's make progress to the next term, which is human values. And as it was done under ethics, one may further ask, say, what is the meaning of human values? Now, human values are also the virtues and guidelines individuals take into account the human element when taking actions, now making decisions and choices or interacting with other people. Now, let me take the human values again. Now, these are the virtues that guide individuals to take into account the human element when taking actions, now making decisions and choices or interacting with other people. Now, virtue in the context also means moral excellence, moral principle, moral standards, good habits, and the rest. Now, exhibiting or showing high moral standards like being honest, having high self-esteem as an individual, being in chaste life, and the rest are also positive human values that must be exhibited by you, the student or the individual. Now, under this too, now all things that are seen good, positive, and moral may be categorized under these human values that we are discussing or that we are talking about. And to cite some examples or to support it with some examples, now one may say patience is very necessary, integrity also very necessary. Now, generosity among other people or among others is also very necessary. And also, to the larger extent, now there are some national values that you, the individual, must also try to exhibit. And what are some of these national values? Now, being patriotic, being disciplined, now getting rid of all forms of ethnocentrism and the rest. And also, now having in you the spirit of being resilient. This is also very necessary regarding the national values or some examples of national values that we are commenting on. You need to be very resilient. Now, having in you the spirit to fight or the spirit to come back when even situations are very difficult, are very challenging. Yes, when you encounter difficult moments or challenging moments, now you need to strive, put yourself together and just try to, to overcome that challenge. yes, you need to try to get rid of that challenge. Now, having confidence in you is also very necessary, and for that matter, are all in alienation with national values. Okay, now let's address the third term, which is ethical behavior. Now, ethical behavior refers to the practice of conducting oneself in a manner that upholds, conforms, or in line with moral principles, standards, and values agreed upon by society. Now, with ethical behavior, it also means acting in line with moral principles, societal norms. Now, being okay. Now let's advance to the last term, which is ethical behavior. Now, it's ethical behavior. It also refers to the practice of conducting oneself in a manner that upholds, conforms with moral principles, standards, and values that are agreed upon by the society. Now, with ethical behavior, it means acting in line with moral principles, moral values, and all forms of standards that are adorable and also acceptable in our various societies. Now, what this is also trying to mean to you and I, as far as ethical behavior is concerned, is differentiating between the good and bad. Now, as an individual, you need to always exhibit attitude that, to the best of your interest, is acceptable, adored, and cherished by the society. Now, decisions that are seen accurate must be taken. Now, you must always try to embark on things that are seen relevant, things that are seen positive, and the rest. Now, you are a student, but very soon you will rise to become a professional. You may become a teacher. You may become a nurse. Now you may become a banker, an engineer, a doctor, and whatever profession that you have in mind or that you are up to. Now, at the workplace, and per what we are learning now, you need to be very careful to the extent that you must try to conform by all the principles and values that are expected of you as an individual or as a professional. And now that you are in the classroom or you are in the school, now you need to do things that are seen good, taking adequate note of your studies, being disciplined. Now, I always say this to you, being disciplined doesn't mean putting up nice dresses or always dressing neatly or nicely, no. But doing whatever thing that is seen good, and for that matter, it is acceptable in the institution such as the school, in your home. So you must be very disciplined in every situation that you find yourself. Taking adequate note of your studies, doing all things that are seen good and right, conforming or abiding by school rules and regulations, and the rest. Now, under the ethical behavior, let's support it with some of these examples. Now, obeying your parents and also conforming to school rules and regulations is an example under ethical behavior. Now, effective and a polite way of communicating to other people Now, not only to your parents, but other people, including your younger siblings and the rest in your various homes, your colleagues in school, now school authorities and the rest. You must have adequate respect for those people, and also you must know how to communicate to all these sorts of people. Effective communication too is also very, very necessary. Now, trust is also very important. Yes, trust. Trust is very, very important. Now, some people are trustworthy to the extent that even confidential places in their various homes, their parents are able to let them know. Their parents are able to show to them that, no, for this place, if even you need money and I am not around, you can attend to this place for money. Now, to the extent that of documents that are seen important and necessary are also kept in those places. Important documents are also kept in those places. So once your parents are having trust in you, mind you, now they can let you know all those important places in the house or in the room, to the extent that in their absence, you can attend to those places when it becomes necessary. You are in school, or when you are in school, now those students that are trusted are those that teachers are able to leave their keys to. We sometimes give our keys to these students to the extent that now we sometimes send them in our various rooms just to attend to a duty for us. Maybe go for this book, go for that thing, and just bring to me. Now, in the absence of trust, under no circumstance will a teacher engage in that. So trust is also very, very necessary and very important. Now also, collaboration is also very important, and for that matter, it is also an example of ethical behavior. Now, as you do in school, now you mostly sit in groups, working as collective, coming out with ideas from different people. Now, once there is collaboration, there is unity. Once there is collaboration, there is teamwork. And once there is teamwork, now there is the possibility of coming out with excellence. Okay. Now let's address the last substrand, which is the relevance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. Now under this substrand 2, now we have 7 items to be discussed. Now the first item will focus on moral development. Second, building trust or healthy relationship. Now third will also focus on enhancing personal integrity and reputation. The fourth will get to do with building trust and credibility. Ethical decision making will also be the 5th point. Professional development will be the 6th. And the 7th one will be social responsibility. Now let's have time to explain these points one after the other, and the relevance or importance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. Now the first one, moral development. Now once you are shaped ethically, now you should understand that you will be able to conform to all societal norms. You will be able to abide by things that are seen good, positive, and for that matter, the society holding high esteem too. You will always be doing things that are seen moral, very necessary and very important. Now, moral lifestyle is so necessary and important to the extent that it will speak to outsiders, your behavior. It will speak to people around you. Now, what is within you? So, taking into account or into consideration now what we have learned about ethics, human values, and ethical behavior. Now, I expect from you that morally you will be developed very well. So, moral development is very important. Abiding by all forms of moral behavior, all forms of good behavior, all forms of acceptable behavior, to the neglect of things that are seen immoral. Immoral lifestyle is not adored, recognized, and cherished by the society. Now, for that reason or for that matter, let's try to get rid of all those forms of immoral lifestyle. Smoking, drinking, taking hard drugs or hard substances, and all forms of social vices are seen immoral. And for that matter, you should try to get rid of all those lifestyle. Okay, now to the next point, building strong or healthy relationship. Yes, this is also important or necessary because now once you exhibit positive or good lifestyle, it will accord respect for you or on your part to the extent that strong bonds or relationship, harmonious or cordial relationship will be existing between you and your fellow human beings, you and your colleagues, you and people in authority, you and your parents, and you and other people. But if your attitude or behavior is seen unethical, and under no circumstance will people even have the taste in getting closer to you, no, they will never take that action. They won't take that action because of the behavior that you are in, because of the lifestyle that you portray or that you exhibit. Now that will deter or prevent many people from getting closer to you. So it is very important you develop strong relationship or healthy relationship for other people. Developing this strong relationship for other people will also engineer or permit them also to relate or develop that same positive or healthy relationship for you. Okay, to the third point. Now, enhancing personal integrity and reputation. It is also very important and very necessary. Personal integrity and reputation. Are you adored by people in your society? Are you cherished? Are you admired by people in your society? Now, are you sure you fit into the society that you find yourself in? Now, some people are living with people in their various homes, in their various societies, but deep within them, they don't fit into the society, all because of the fact that the lifestyle or the attitude that they exhibit is always against societal norms. And for that matter, most people do not even want to have eye-to-eye contact with you, all because of the character that you possess. or because of the attitude that you always exhibit. But once you are shaped ethically, now this will help you to be recognized. This will help you to be adored by people that are around you. Now, naturally, every human being is created in a unique way to the extent that you must be respected. But if you don't put yourself into good condition, if you don't behave well, if you don't portray things that are seen positive, it will be difficult. Even your own siblings, even your own parents will be closer to you. It will be very, very difficult. All because of how you relate, how you go by doing your things and the rest. No. Okay. Now, let's advance to the fourth point, which is building trust and credibility. Now, building trust is also very necessary or very important, because once you possess ethical standards, good moral values, now be understood that people will have trust in you. Once there is trust, there is the credibility. So trustworthy people are those that are having the credibility in the eyes of many people. Credibility is very necessary to the extent that in the absence of credibility, there is no trust. But the presence of trust will invite credibility, or the presence of credibility will also invite trust. It's good you are trusted at home, in the school, and other social places. It is very, very good and very important. And for you to be credible, you need to be very honest. For you to be trusted, you need to be very fair, very sincere, very transparent in all activities that you engage yourself in. Okay, now another point is ethical decision making or positive decision making. Once you exhibit good moral values, you relate cordially with your fellow human being, understand that you'll be able to come out with concrete decisions. Now, concrete decisions are those decisions that are seen positive, that are seen strong, that are seen vibrant, and the rest. Now, if you and I will be honest, those people that are into drugs, those people that are into immoral lifestyle, they are not able to come out with concrete or solid decisions. Why? Why? Because they are always influenced by substances or by drugs, and for that matter, it becomes difficult. The brain functions effectively. I remember now reading a book, I met this disadvantage of alcoholism as weakening of the brain. So once you engage in alcoholism, now one effect is that it will weaken your brain. And we should understand that the brain controls our daily activities. The brain controls the entire body, and the brain guides us in whatever activity that we engage ourselves. Yes, whatever activity that we engage ourselves in. So the brain is an efficient part of the human body. Yes, very vibrant. Because once it malfunctions, things will start getting worse. Now, professional development is also one of the importance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of you, the individual. Now, the training that you are going through in school, the training that you are also going on in your various or respective homes is also very important, because now the training will guide, shape, and prepare you towards your professional development or towards your professional standards. Now, for instance, you are in school. Now, if you are not trained in a way and manner that will assist you to be time conscious, when you grow to become a professional, it will even affect you at the workplace. Yes, because you may not be able to report to work on time as it is being expected of you. And as a result, it may affect your stay in that institution or in that profession, because maybe your authorities will try to put you to order, but because you also think it isn't part of you, it will be very difficult to implement or to apply what the authorities are expected from you. Which, for that matter, you may find yourself wanting even at the workplace, although you are a professional, because whatever activity that an individual will perform is supervised by a superior. So in the school, I have my superior. I have my HOD. At the house level, I have my senior house master. At the academic level too, I have my assist academic, and the overall boss is the headmaster. The overall boss is the headmaster. Now, he is to ensure that our daily activities is organized and structured as expected by the profession. Yes. So you also being the student, now there are many good things that are expected of you. So once you don't abide by all these good principles, now be informed that teachers or authorities will try to put you to order. And in our attempt of doing that, you may be thinking that, say, it's so difficult, madam, it's too difficult, and the rest. That is not the case, but the intent is to shape you towards a brighter future. Now, the last point to be discussed is the social responsibility as one of the relevance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. Now, social responsibility is having a duty to act, contributing to the well-being of the society that you find yourself in. We all have a role to play in our various societies. Now, some engage in communal labor. Some also engage in voluntary assistance. Now, there are some communities Even let's use this school as a case study. A Catholic priest or a reverend father came to the school and assisted the school in diverse ways. He assisted us with furnitures. He also assisted us with water and the rest. So this is a voluntary hut. This is a voluntary responsibility that was taken by the Reverend Father. So you also being an individual, now although you are young, although you are a student, but in one way or the other, you can also contribute to societal development. So most people just assist their various societies as a result of good moral standards, as a result of ethical behavior, and as a result of good virtue that is endowed in that individual. So going forward, I expect you also to be assisting Mother Ghana in diverse ways, as done by the Reverend Father or the Catholic priest, as I said. And when it becomes necessary to contribute your part to societal development, just accept that. Get that heart and just engage in that. And your reward will be enhanced. God will just reward you. If even people don't reward you, God will reward you. Good deeds are very important to the extent that it goes with a lot of blessings. It goes with a lot of blessings. Okay. I think that is all we have for the day's lesson. Now let's summarize all what we have learned or all what was discussed. Now we described these terms, ethics, and we learned that ethics refers to a set of moral principles, rules, or guidelines that govern human behavior or conduct and which are accepted and agreed upon by society. After that, we made progress to human values, and we also learned that human values are the virtues that guide individuals to take into account the human element when taking actions, making decisions and choices, or interacting with other people. And we ended on ethical behavior. And on that too, we learned that it refers to the practice of conducting oneself in a manner that upholds, conforms, or in line with moral principles, standards, and values agreed upon by the society. After that, we ended on the relevance or the importance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. And we discussed or we described 7 points. The first point was moral development. The second, building strong or healthy relationship. The third was enhancing personal integrity and reputation. Fourth was building trust and credibility. Fifth was ethical decision making. Sixth was professional development. And the last one was social responsibility. Now I want you to take this assignment and submit it when school reopens. Now mind you, I earlier told you that school is still in session, although you are in your various homes. Question number 1. Discuss these terms. Discuss these terms. I, ethics. I, human values. And I, ethical behavior. Question 2. Justify for importance or relevance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. I'm taking question 2 again. Justify the relevance or importance of, justify for relevance or importance of ethics, values, and ethical behavior in the development of the individual. That is all for the day's work. Peace be with you until we meet again. Bye-bye.